welcome back. This is Individual Perspective Podcast. I am your host, Daris D, McKinney, and I'm trying to turn up my mic so I can at least get some good audio. Here. Trying to make sure it sounds good. Okay, how you guys doing? We gotta finalize this Anton Daniels and Tommy Sotomayor, like conflict, And like I said, my job is to kind of give you full context so you can walk away and you kind of know everything and you don't need to kind of have a perspective that, you gotta soul through the weeds of how they're doing the commentary or anything like that. Told myself I wasn't gonna yarn, but I'm so tired. I've been doing too much. I apologize, but I'm ready for you. I got the cup of Joe here. Cup of Joe. Okay, so we gonna get through it. There was some context that it's almost not good that it wasn't communicated to us in full spectrum. And I like I said, I gotta understand that when you come into the back chasers world or Anton Daniels kind of way of communicating with the masses or the peasants, he's kind of so successful and he's kind of doing what he's doing that he's really in a way doing what he feels that how things should go. And if you're along for the ride, you're along for the ride. If you're not, fuck you. And it doesn't matter if it's out of context or it's or it's objective or it's subjective. It's all in his choosing. And then Tommy Sotomayor, because his hands is in so much stuff, like moral objective. Oh, excuse me. A moral stance, and sorry about that. I guess it is pretty early. Actually, my life is crazy because I've been going since 6 this morning. And I actually went out and did some work and everything and then came back because I was able to get through the task pretty early. And kind of did some work on the computer and the movies and stuff like that. And then I said, you know what, I can't, later on today, I can't be at 5:30. I can't be really on the computer because I need to do some other major important things. And then I told myself I needed to kind of come in here, and if it's going to take a couple hours or so to do this or whatever it takes, I need to do it now. But going back to how I really need you guys to understand what I was trying to communicate. I know that my articulation and maybe my context of, because even when I was yesterday in the podcast, I gave these little spacey moments. I don't like dead air, but I gave these little moments in space when my podcast, because I was trying to remember Saint in the Center. I was trying to remember his name. I was trying to remember Kevin Samuel's name. I guess I was a little out of it a little bit yesterday, where my brain was too overworked. Because trust me, most of the things that I'm doing is very intellectually to technically, mentally technical, to coding and web building and app building and graphic design and special effects and audio mixing and editing and cinematography and it's just so much detailed technical stuff. And then when I'm doing my other work, I'm very physical with the electrician and construction and the maintenance world and all that stuff. And then when I'm doing my other stuff where I'm kind of it's a lot. it's a lot, you know, and it's like all day, all night, and then I gotta kind of consume content to react to it and do my podcasts on a day-to-day basis. I told you guys, and I kind of make these decisions around, or not make the decision, but go at it aggressively around December 20th time and all that stuff, the end of the month of December and everything. And I it's like a light switch to me. It's like an epiphany to me. If I decide to do something, if I decide to put something part of my who I am and what I will be and who I am and my being, I do it and I go into the oblivion with it. Like I told you, my goal is to come on here every single day to give you guys content, to try to grow my audience. I know it's going to take a long time. I know it's going to take a while, but I'm going to be consistent from now on. I'm going to be always present and functioning here. So I want to come in and I want to start to say, like, some of the context, the detailed timeline stuff, I want to straighten out a little bit from yesterday and go out to kind of go back to a couple little things just to kind of make sure that it's in full context to all the different, like, even just the three parts of this situation, because I got three parts to the Anton Daniels and Tommy Sotomayor. I call it unavoidability. Like, they meet unavoidability, and what that means is they try to avoid talking about each other. They try to avoid, like, not saying each other's name, to not give credibility to each other or value to each other in opposition of each other. They try to avoid not giving each other clout off them or whatever that was. And no matter what the situation of status or legacy or historical value to the work that they do has made them come into a conflict or pretty much come into an actual a meeting ground where they kind of come into where they can't avoid each other. So I call it Anton Daniels and Tommy Sotomayor meets unavoidability, because they can't avoid each other anymore. Unavoidability. And that's what I mean by that. But I kind of went down the rabbit hole and went back to some of the first comments of things, and I found out that he's like I told you, he is a freedom fighter, and he's very open to freedom, his rights as an American citizen. And sometimes he'll fight against his financial being, or not his financial being, but making more money and getting more fans and having system support in order to say what he wanted to say. That in opposition to that, and Anton is about the bag, about making the money, and don't mess up me from making money and making my company successful. And it's also like how Kevin Hart was. Kevin Hart, he had a documentary that he had his assistants and people follow him around, and what he was doing to his company and stuff. And his goal is to get to $1 billion, to become a billionaire. And any means necessary, he wants to become that billionaire. And us as an audience, we didn't know that it was any means necessary until it was like a very woke LGBTQIA plus advocate within his staff that didn't like that he made a gay joke, or that he kind of said something about trans, or he didn't take up or show support of the LGBTQIA plus community. So this one, like, young hippie white girl in his organization kind of spanked him on the hand and judged him, and he actually gave in to her and broke his dominance in how he would be in his business, because his thing was, under no circumstances will I stop my audience or a audience to growing me to that $1 billion. So I want to be loved by everybody because I want that demographic to support me. Whatever it is, I don't want to stop whatever it takes to get to $1 billion. So he kind of transitioned itself because it messed with his bag. And I only bring that up because that was kind of how Anton Daniels is. But at the same time, I brought up yesterday that even with clear eye, and I don't think none of the decisions that Kevin Hart or Anton Daniels make is incorrect. Excuse my yarning. I guess I'm a little more tired than I thought I was. But there's more that I didn't do. I didn't drink my coffee this morning. I would have been fired up if I did. I did a lot of stuff and didn't do my coffee. But anyway, so they made a decision, and I was telling people that life is black and white. You're either good or bad. You're either you either have integrity or you don't have integrity. You're either honorable or you're not honorable. And because people play in a gray area where they're somewhat honorable, they're somewhat have integrity, they're somewhat in support of freedom of speech, you find out that it is, when it all comes down to it, are you for freedom of speech? And I told you yesterday, most people aren't. It's not in your best interest to be a 100% freedom of speech advocate. You get what I'm saying? That's why people see, like, for me, I'm a 100% advocate for freedom of speech. You know what I mean? So if I come onto someone's profile, I will, as long as they don't bring me into a situation where I have to represent what I believe in it, and if they're saying like, hey, you can't comment on that, but you brought up a topic or a subject that makes it where I have to communicate it in order to have total freedom to communicate what my perspective is on something, then I'm gonna say what that is. You know what I mean? But at the same time, my goal is to not be on someone's platform that's anti-freedom of speech. You get what I'm saying? Or they're like, they have their business model and their business structure and everything that they do is against freedom of speech. So what I would do is I would try to put myself in conversations or panels or discussions that has it where I don't have to like really be in total freeness of my speech. You know how to conduct yourself in a societal situation, certain things that nobody should say, because in context it's not even necessary to say certain vulgar words or descriptions of certain things, and anything that you don't technically need to say it because it didn't even call for. So it's ways that you can articulate yourself without saying, like, I don't cuss all the time on here. It's not because I love profanity, but I don't see the context of needing to do it. Say it every single time or be verbose and vulgar language. If it's a situation that comes up where I have to emphasize, or I'm reading something, or I'm responding to what someone else has said, and then in the context, to keep context and keep a clear communication, that I have to say something vulgar or anything, I will. But most of the time, you can navigate yourself through a conversation without you have to come across like true stance on freedom of speech. My problem comes where if you put on the table that you're a freedom of speech advocate, and now we're debating, are you a freedom of speech advocate or are you a freedom of speech citizen? Or is your platform true freedom of speech? And then I have to communicate that you're not, and it's too much factual data to represent that. I have to be able to say that. And I'm going to say that because you posed the question in the conversation now. But as long as you don't do that, I'm good. I don't have to interact with my 100% for freedom of speech and you're 100% against freedom of speech because it can economically damage you. So Anton, he may not look at it like that, or he may not have thought of it that way, or maybe he have, and he has given up his advocacy to be a freedom of speech person. And I think that's all right. I think he kind of used characteristics of freedom of speech, but I'm pretty sure he's in total conscious that he's not a freedom of speech advocate or a person that's in 100% support of freedom of speech. Probably his whole career is about making sure that you conduct yourself in a manner that may be favorable to who's who's exchanging the money with you and who's doing the business with you. If it's not a like slander, illegal, ridiculous, shameful type of business, then there's no reason to have opposition to them. So for YouTube, from the censor that YouTube did over the last three to 4 years, there is full communication in everybody know that's on this platform that this is not a freedom of speech environment. You get what I'm saying? No matter how much profane language and the conversations that people have and the sexual innuendos and the different things that people say on this platform, there is so many key words that you can't say. You have to articulate it in certain little cryptic ways and all that stuff. It is not a freedom of speech environment. It's not a First Amendment environment. And people got so wealthy and successful adapting to this thing that they became YouTube. How YouTube thinks of the First Amendment. And they like, oh, it's okay for me to conduct myself through my whole life and all my business like that. So I just want to be clear. The difference between Anton Daniels and Tommy Sotomayor is that Anton Daniels is 100% against your First Amendment right. And what is to be supportive of your First Amendment right means that you should not infringe on anyone's First Amendment right at any minute, moment, hour, day, year of life. No one should be able to be today's First Amendment to be taken away from them. But if you believe, don't bring your wild, crazy, radical stuff to my environment, then you're kind of not a place for the First Amendment. You're not a place for freedom of speech, and that's okay. I think people say some stupid stuff and very degenerate stuff that you don't want to. Don't talk like that. Don't bring that crazy stuff to my platform. I totally understand that, but I want us to understand that it's one thing to be 100% for the First Amendment, and it's another thing to be for the First Amendment under conditions. And if you're for the First Amendment under condition, that means you're against First Amendment rights. First Amendment is not for what you want to hear or what you like to hear or how someone should say something that you think they should come out of their mouth. It's for things that we absolutely don't agree with, that we don't like that people say, that should not be communicated out of a human being's mouth. We give freedom for every human being, every citizen in America to communicate it. And if you're against that, you're not for the First Amendment. And I think that is so lost in understanding for people that they get this little gray area where they actually, with their chest up high, act like they're First Amendment advocates, and you're not, and you know you're not. And I don't think you're wrong. Like I said, the way that Anton Daniels run his ship is successful. It's extremely successful, and I'm entertained by it. I listen to his shows. I'm not like saying, oh wow, he's really not a First Amendment advocate or supportive of the First Amendment. You know, they say the stuff that, normal conversation is enough. You don't need all the freedom. But at the same time, if you put a situation in front of me where, like him and the conversation he was saying yesterday about not really wanting to interact with Tommy Sotomayor because he's bad for business. He's bad for YouTube, and YouTube is against him. Don't just leave it like that. It's context to it. YouTube is against the First Amendment, so that's a conflict with Tommy Sotomayor and how Tommy Sotomayor was talking about a lot of stuff that YouTube was demonetizing people and cutting them off from the stream and the platform because they decided I'm not gonna censor myself about the pandemic or stuff like that, you know, or the LGBTQIA plus community and Black women and how they conduct themselves in society and as a whole and all that stuff. All that stuff is taboo. It is not favored on your YouTube, and you can't get demonetized off of that stuff. So a lot of people kind of learned how to thread themselves where they can keep their monetization, they can kind of keep advocacy, they can keep the actual favor from YouTube, but at the same time they innuendoly they kind of say some of the stuff that actual YouTube is kind of against, you know what I mean? But they say it in a way where it's very muddy and it's unclear and it has no definitive conclusion or definitive communication on it. So it's just like, it's the industry. It's the industry. So you gotta, if you decide to play ball, you're playing ball. I kind of make sure I articulate certain things that I want to articulate on YouTube because it's a freedom of speech. I mean, because it's against the freedom of speech in full context that you can't even say the R word on here. I don't care how vicious that is. If I want to emphasize something, I want to be able to say it. But like, you know, but the platform to say we would destroy your ability to use the platform, and your ability to use the platform is because we can't deny you if you're an American citizen, and if you're coming on the platform and you don't have any malice situations, then we'll allow for you to use the platform, but we are subjected to decide to take that power away. And with that power, we have to come onto the platform and kind of live in some kind of threshold borderline, but you can't still articulate yourself to what you want to say in your freedom of speech. Like, I won't say some crazy stuff that will be words that may be against their way of communication, but I've come on here, I have said a bunch of times that YouTube is not a freedom of speech platform. That is a hell of a thing to say. You get what I'm saying? But I'm free to say that because it's not like a threat to communication and the freedom of being able to communicate how I want to on the platform. It's just certain things that we can't discuss that may be social and ideological and political and stuff like that may kind of get your account demonetized and everything like that. Only reason why I bring this up is because you may not, I don't want to have this conversation, but I don't want to have the ability to make a clear communication about the First Amendment, and this is a good example for it. And I say, wow, man, I could have really had a good conversation about the First Amendment and freedom of communication, but I didn't do it because I didn't want to insult or say anything that's not favorable to Anton Daniels or Tommy Sotomayor and stuff like that. I think at a fault, Tommy Sotomayor is a freedom of speech, free rights advocate. He does things that he uses his freedom of speech. Like I always tell people, I don't want a president that don't use the First Amendment. That I don't have any evidence, any video recordings or audio to see that he actually used his First Amendment right to his full ability. You get what I'm saying? A lot of people say that it's the decorum and the statue or the presidency is despicable for Donald Trump to call people these nicknames, and he's kind of telling people they're dumb and they're ugly and all this other stuff. This is beneath the presidency. No, that is 100% what the president should be doing, showing his ability to use his opinion, his views, and freedom of speech, communication, that he could say something that's rude or it's maybe his opinion about something, but it's his right to say it. And if you're in a situation where you're saying, oh, it's not good for a president to say that or do that, you don't want to. We already got plenty of examples of a bunch of lawyers, bunch of senators, bunch of congressmen, bunch of governors, bunch of political hacks from Washington down to Donald Trump and anybody in between. You got plenty of examples of people becoming president. The first time you actually have a citizen president was Donald Trump. Everybody else was political. They was either senators or congressmen or lawyers that was in a political realm, in the political circles and all that stuff like that. They all been military people and everything like that. They all been like the system. Donald Trump is the first citizen that actually got elected. And I don't mean like legal citizen. I'm talking about a citizen that actually lived and was a regular person, or at least a citizen of the country, that had no respect, no buy-in, no backroom, hey, in 10 more years we're gonna try to run you for president. None of that stuff. None of that stuff. The reason why people didn't like Trump becoming president, because it's not their decision if he became president or not. And he communicated that and treated them like that too. And they like, oh yeah, it is our citizen. We'll try to become president and see what happens. And when he tried to become president, they seen that he had legs. Why? Because people like people. People like human beings. People like real talking human beings and human citizens, and people that like Escalades and triple cheeseburgers and yachts and big giant houses. It's an overindulgent personality. That's who Americans are. We talk too much, we do too much, we build too much, we everything is huge. Our personality is huge. What we like is huge. We don't just want one beer, we want two. We don't want one glass of wine, we want the bottle. We don't want a 3-ounce steak, we want a 7-8-ounce steak. It's just our personality, it's our culture. Americanism is more. And everybody act freaked out about this stuff, and you want a representation of you as a president. And who is a representation of you as a president? Who is all of us? Who is all of us as American citizens? People that, American citizens, we like guns. You know what I mean? We like the power to overthrow our government. You know what I mean? We hate giving our equity value to the system. You know, we want more for ourselves and more success for ourselves. You know, we want the best of life, or experience the best of life. And you want that in your president. You want that in your senator. You want that in your congressman. You want that in your city council members. That way they don't write laws and they don't write statutes to hinder that. And that's what's been going on. Everybody's been doing laws to hurt us, to hurt the individual, to constrain the individual. So when you're having a conversation about two podcasters, one is like, he's about whatever he can say, when he can say it, how he can say it, and the difference of him having success, even though he's been really bumping against the system. And then you got one that's did so well and well organized that he's intertwined how he looks at business in the world to the over how can I say the grandeur of how much is paying him, how much is giving him to have a personality and a belief system that is very is confined enough that it doesn't offend bigger people than him that has control of his pockets. So in that situation, you're coming to terms with, okay, what's the benefits of being totally for your freedom and your rights, and you actually display it and present it and kind of show some kind of presentation of it on a day-to-day basis, and a person that has rights but has decided it's in all of our best interest to be constrained to what we are able to do. Because I always say one of the craziest things about life is that you don't have the right to live. You don't have the right to live. You know what I mean? You want to live. You want to have people not you want people to treat you like you treat them, where you're not opposing your will on someone else's life. And you don't want someone to oppose their will on your life. And that's how you want to be in life. And that's why you don't want to walk out of the house, be at the grocery store, and then you get into a situation where it's life and death. You don't want to be in that situation. It's ridiculous. No human being in America should have to deal with anything like that. That's why we try to say there's consequences to if you do anything. But the right to live, it's not, you don't have that right. It's subjected to the person that is willing to take it away from you. And that's the bad part about life. So we try to limit the actual ability for any of us to kind of walk out the house and superimpose the value of somebody's life against them. So I say that, and that's hardcore stuff, but it goes to the freedom of speech. It goes to the freedom of, are you for the First Amendment or are you not? And how you know if you are and you not is, do you fully display it? Do you fully actually advocate for it? Do you fully represent it at all given time? The problem with freedom of speech is it's always has a function of showing, or has a function of being, you know? So things come up on a day-to-day, minute basis, hour basis, that shows you, are you for the First Amendment or are you not? Are you for the Second Amendment or are you not? Are you for the Third Amendment or are you not? Are you for the Fourth Amendment or are you not? Are you for the Fifth Amendment or are you not? If it's any lukewarm or subjective analyzing of it, or it's based on a specific judicial judge perception of, do you like your Fifth Amendment right should be upheld or your Fourth Amendment right should be upheld, then you don't believe in it. So I always say that we have about 60% of all our laws, statutes that are technically illegal, because it goes against our First, Second, Fourth, Fifth Amendment right. And in any laws that was put into law that kind of goes against your constitutional rights, even additional amendments that were built, if it went against your individual rights that was put as the concrete of the Constitution, then those laws should have never been put into law. Now we have to take probably about $100 billion and take every statute in America to the Supreme Court. Take it through the court system. Take it through the appeals court. Take it into the state Supreme Court, and then you got to take it to the actual U.S. Supreme Court in order to delete some of this ridiculous stuff. So, the reason why I'm going off on this is because we need to keep in context black and white and what is and what's not. And I think we're so full of shit these days that we just lie to ourselves about a question we ask ourselves. And we kind of know what the truth and the honest answer is. So being freedom of speech is a scary thing. And I always say one of the things that's worse about me is I'm extremely objective. So that means I'm always holding extreme to the truth. What is the truth? What is the truth? Not my truth. What is the truth? I kind of messed it up yesterday when I kind of said the tagline of individual perspective is when the truth is your truth. You get what I'm saying? And what I mean by that is what is the truth should be what's automatically what you seen and what you know it is. And people kind of do the opposite when their truth becomes the truth. And your truth could be a lie because you don't have context, you don't have the vast background and information to represent what conclusion you really have, and it doesn't hold up under scrutiny, and it can't go through the scholastic method to sustain itself, so it's not the truth. And what the truth is always sustained. It's always just what it is. It is. So that's the kind of, I'm sorry for that preamble kind of introduction, but it's a lot of stuff that I'm very I'm conflicted with these two gentlemen kind of going at each other but at the same time I think it's so accurate. These two people should be coming at each other. Why? Because there's too many people that are like living their lives, they're doing their thing, and then they don't ever have to kind of stand for anything and say, I am this. Now, I'm not saying that Anton is doing that. I feel like yesterday, even how he communicated his, and maybe that was 2 days ago when I had looked it up. 2 days ago when he did his podcast on it, he made it clear, I don't go against the bag. I don't care about rights. I don't care about freedom of speech. I don't care about fighting the system. That stuff is irrelevant to my bag. He exactly said he is not for freedom of speech. He's not for the First Amendment right. If it comes to a place where it hurts him financially, he's going to be opposed to it. You get what I'm saying? Or you can see it as he's for the First Amendment until it comes into conflict of his growth. So if something put into the books of what you can say and you can't say, he would adopt that, because if it can keep him keeping his bag and he can somewhat say majority of the things he want to say, then he's for the constriction of speech. And I'm just saying, you gotta, he himself admitted that that's how he moves on stuff. We know that Tommy Sotomayor, he's a mess. He's like a wild child with crayons in an all-white room. You get what I'm saying? He's writing on the wall. He's doing all kind of stuff, and he's free to do it. And his constitutional right gives him freedom to do it. You get what I'm saying? He uses it, and he kind of displays it and show examples of it. From him doing an interaction and his banning on platforms to his OnlyFans to all the different stuff that he do. He's a freedom toting wild child out here, and that's just the way he is. You know what I mean? But you got to understand, that's the country you live in. I always tell people, they didn't like, a lot of people love to be Americans and all that stuff, and they love the cars, they love the jobs they have, they love the clothes they have, they love the restaurants, they love the packaged meat, They love all this great stuff, and there's all this Western culture of America and capitalism and all the other stuff. But when Trump became president or ran for president, people didn't like rude dialect or poignant communication, or that anybody can just decide that they want to become president, and if they got enough backbone to themselves to fight all the way to the finish, then you can actually become president. And most citizens hate that. They want a systematic representation of a person to become president, not an every American. And so I see that people hate their freedoms. People hate our freedoms. We technically do not like our freedoms. They're under the condition of. We like them under the condition of. And that's the situation. Like I said in a previous episode of podcast, is that the reason why slaves and slavery was abolished is because it was too many citizens. It was too many lawmakers, it was too many lawyers, it was too many makers of the country, that it came into conflict with how they look at their freedoms. Like you don't truly have a freedom or a right if you make it under the condition, I can not give this person this rights and these freedoms and these laws. So once they seen that, and only to make sure that the laws are represented in a consistent strength, we have to make sure that at all times the system makes sure that everybody's rights are being equally administrated. And it made it where you can't say, oh, I don't like that happened to him, but I don't want that to happen to me. Well, if you don't want it to happen to me, if I don't want it to happen to me, then I can't let it happen to him just because I don't know when I'm not, well, I don't know what's going to happen when I'm not looking. So they had to put a law and certain constitutional rights into play to make sure that it's no matter what happens or what I'm doing, that my rights has always been like consistently given to me, like it's given to everybody equally. And that's why the abolishment of slavery was just, it was an inevitable situation, because it always went against a person's right. Even if you're going against this slave's rights, you're going against your rights. Why? Because that slave is a human. And it's in the beginning of the Constitution. You get what I'm saying? All humans. So, and every right is inevitable. You get what I'm saying? So, I know I'm trying to say a lot and then go to this stuff. So in context, I went to do a deep dive to say, okay, how did this conversation start? You get what I'm saying? And let me see if I got this up right here. Okay, so let me play this clip. Let me see. Okay, so let me refresh that because I want to start at the beginning. Okay, so I think you can hear me. I think you can hear the audio too. So we're gonna share this. Bring it to the screen. It's right on the screen now. And let's go.
Stay out of this shit. This ain't for you, bro. I'm gonna just let you know right now. I don't know if y'all familiar with my work, bro, but you better get acquainted. You better get acquainted. I will nuke everybody. I shouldn't even be talking to these niggas. I need to be talking to their boss. They're in negotiations to try to get contracts up, trying to count money. remember that. Just remember that. Like, bro, if your people fuck with you so hard, then how come you ain't got no motion on your own? That's all I'm saying. I could teach you something. Let me coach you, nigga. Because, you know, I kind of look at him as autistic. The nigga blink a lot when he talk. I honestly, and this is the honest to God truth, I'm not dissing. I'm not dissing. You know how these super pseudo-intellectual people, they have quirks about them and they do stuff? They got tics and stuff like that. I thought that the nigga was autistic at first. But see, the problem with niggas that be autistic, and there's nothing wrong with somebody on a spectrum. Because see, y'all look at these niggas as savants. Y'all look at them as super intellectual. These niggas fear you. They fear me. I'm the boogeyman. I'm the boogeyman. You know what makes me the boogeyman? Because I don't need no sponsors. I don't need nobody to tell me what to do. I own 100% of everything, and I don't have no strings on me. So I say what the fuck I want to say when I want.
Okay. Now this is Anton responding to if I'm not mistaken, I want to go back to, I want to make sure I'm in context. Maybe it's not there. What happened was, let me take you to the real nuts and bolts of this situation. You get what I'm saying? Anton Daniels, he did a actual interview with Brian McKnight, okay? And the reason why I'm kind of as I'm doing this, I'm kind of getting a thumbnail so I can kind of do this. Okay. So he did an interview with Brian McKnight where it was kind of watched by a lot of people. You get what I'm saying? It obviously watched by a lot of people. Joe Budden and them decided that they were gonna actually respond to them having a conversation about Brian McKnight and Anton was having a conversation about Joe Budden and Lamont from maybe some things that they said about Brian McKnight in the past or something. And Anton wanted to give Brian McKnight a chance to respond to it, you know, so he posed the question to Brian McKnight. Brian McKnight said what he said, and then Joe Budden and them had their response to what he said. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna kind of take you guys through the timeline of all this. But that comment that I just got through playing with Anton, that's how Tommy Sotomayor got on, and he said, "Okay, you got a lot to say about these guys, but let me challenge you on with your conversation," because Anton technically did call out Mark Lamont Hill to have a debate. He said he would smoke him. He said, hey, you ain't that smart. If I had a debate with you, you get smoked. You'd be messed up. Mark Lamont Hill took him up on that and said, okay, let's set up a meeting. Let's set up a interview where we can go at it. For some reason, Anton decided to pull back on that and say, hey, I'm not going to give you the visibility, or I'm not going to give you, I don't really need to debate with you. You're nobody. And that's how we're coming into it, okay? I'm giving you the context of what they're arguing about. So now, let's go back to how this all started, okay? So before Anton started doing this,
and we can have a conversation and all of that stuff maybe one day, but you got to ask your boss if you can talk to me first, bro.
He's going back on his call out. It was a video that he had where he actually called them out, said he's pseudo intellectuals. They're not really smart, and if we kind of debated each other, I will smoke you and everything like that. I remember that was a video that Anton had put out, and arrogant Mark Lamont Hill, he's on CNN all the time and all that stuff. He decided to, okay, let's go debate. And then this is what Anton said after the fact. Context is everything, y'all. So let's go a little bit further back, okay? And I'm going to what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna actually put a screensaver on this thing. Not a screensaver, there's some images that I want to throw in here. Boom. And that. Okay. What we're gonna do. See, I'm kind of doing graphics as we do this. You know what I mean? It's my fault. I should have never I should have did this before. I forgot to do it before. Tell you honest God truth. Boom. Yeah, boom. That's good. And give me a second, guys. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna be on it. I'm gonna get on it. I'm gonna catch up. Okay. As I play the video, I need to have some stuff on the background, on the face of it. Okay, so let's go to the video. Okay. So, okay. So now let's go to the thing that started it all.
Our good brother Brian McKnight went on Anton Daniels' podcast and shared some things. I have a clip here. He shared that he reached out to the Joe Budden podcast so he can attempt to be a guest.
Who caught that message?
I want to let Mr. McKnight know I have never received that message. You must have sent that to like the pod page.
You maybe
or something.
With AI,
you can create any character you want.
Sorry about the commercials.
this used to require
It's YouTube.
huge Hollywood.
Okay, what we're gonna do is okay. Sorry about that, guys. I'm actually multitasking here and I'm trying to make sure everything looks good. Okay. See how I'm doing that? Okay, guys. So let me go back to the video.
Because if you would have sent that to me, we would have handled that in a heartbeat. You know, I got you singing at my wedding. Maybe you don't know.
not no more. Not no more.
Why not no more?
Wait till we done. Oh shit.
Oh, come on.
About to burn that bridge.
Anyway, I have this.
Better get it back up.
I have this clip here. I want to let Mr. McKnight know on Anton.
You better like the video. You better subscribe. Let's.
Our good brother Brian McKnight went on Anton Daniels' podcast and shared some things. I have a clip here. He shared that he reached out to the Joe Budden podcast so he can attempt to be a guest.
Who caught that message?
I want to let Mr. McKnight know I have never received that message. You must have sent that to like the pod page.
You maybe
or something.
With AI,
You can create any character you want.
Boy, I
in
tell you,
seconds.
these
this used to
commercials.
require huge Hollywood.
I'm gonna go back because I want to hear that again and I want to commentate on it.
Anton Daniels. Our good brother Brian McKnight went on Anton Daniels podcast and shared some things. I have a clip here. He shared that he reached out to the Joe Budden podcast so he can attempt to be a guest.
Who caught that message?
I want to.
So who said that? Who said that? He reached out. Brian McKnight said he tried to come on to the show or something like that. I guess I gotta listen to that. Let me let them talk.
Let Mr. McKnight know I have never received that message. You must have sent that to like the pod page, or something.
With AI,
You can create any character you want in seconds.
this used to
Boy,
require
these
huge
commercial
Hollywood-
markers.
Because if you would have sent that to me, we would have handled that in a heartbeat. You know, I got you singing at my wedding. Maybe you don't know.
Not no more. Not no more.
Why not no more?
Wait till we done. Shit.
Oh, come on.
About to burn that bridge.
Anyway, I have this.
Better get it back up.
I have this clip here. Like to hear it. Hear it go.
Because here's the thing. Why can't we sit and talk about it?
Yeah, I agree.
I send a message to Joe Budden's podcast. Crickets. Nothing. But who said Mark the guy, the political guy?
See? Okay, so one is, this is how people go viral and stuff. They kind of, get shit started, and Anton's guilty of this. He's trying to get shit started, like he said, he uses people with major exposure to, get some visibility. And it's good marketing. If he finds a way to market himself, we're gonna do it. Okay. But also he's given Brian McKnight the platform to articulate himself or say his point of view on it or something like that too. So yeah, it's just the way it is, you know what I mean? So interesting. Okay. Let's go back.
Let me tell you something.
What's the guy's name again?
I'd destroy that dude. I would destroy him. Not physically, but
I understand what you're saying.
because you don't even know me. But you call me an asshole?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, so Brian McKnight saying that Mark Lamont Hill's talking crazy stuff about him. He don't even know him. He would destroy him. And he's talking about he'll destroy him in a debate, not physically fighting, but in a conversation, in a debate. So let's let it go.
Other healthy meal service is doing it like Factor. I've tried what feels like every plan there is, and they've
So hate these
I look
commercials.
at Mark Lamont Hill.
Get him, Anton.
There's this segment of people that are what I like to call, they like to champion themselves as intellectuals, right? And that they truly believe that they're smarter than everybody else.
Tell him.
But I don't really believe that because I never see the results. It never translates.
Joe Budden instigated his own panel. He's kind of said, tell him, Mom, Anton. So funny. That's funny. Come on. That's funny.
Oh, so
I see people handing him his ass.
it's easy
Whoa. Let me rewind that. Let me rewind that.
This guy in the room, but it doesn't.
Hold up. You heard what Brian says.
It never translates, right? So
I see people handing I see people handing him his ass all the time.
yeah, it's easy to. I mean, it's easy to say that he's the smartest guy in the room, but it doesn't necessarily translate into results, right? So I decided that I would do stuff on my own.
We don't need to rest.
Nah.
We don't need to rest.
We kind of got it.
I went and watched the whole episode to make sure it wasn't anymore. It was
So
just
did I.
this.
I know you did. I
you
know
know
you
I
did
did.
too.
It's part of the job.
Yo,
Yeah.
where does it translate? How do you measure
Whoa.
that?
And they were talking about two different things. That's the funny part. They were just
Like, how do you measure that? Mark could be resonating with a whole bunch of different people and improving people's lives every single day. You can't measure that.
Ish. Fight your fights.
No, I
Fight.
fuck with the team, bro.
He went out there in the
I fuck
street.
with the team, bro.
Mark went out there in the street. Homeboy is here. He came to the block. Let them at least get their one off for a couple. And if Mark
Yo,
started
you
getting
can't be a
fucked up,
stranger and come on my block and get a film.
you
you can't do that.
What I tell you?
You got it, though.
That's not how that works. Dark Lamont Hill. Do you know where this stems from? Do you know what you've said to make Brian McKnight feel this way? What do you have to say about it? I'll totally move out the way now.
All right, let me say a couple of things. Let me think, because I didn't know we were going to talk about this.
We ain't gonna talk about it, nigga. Shoot at the nigga. Shoot that nigga. Fuck it.
First, it's based on the comments we had up here, the conversation we had up here. So I don't remember us saying nothing that crazy about him. I don't remember.
Oh, we
No,
did.
we've said
No,
some
we
things.
did.
I don't think it was crazy.
I haven't, but
No, I don't think there's anything crazy about him. I don't remember calling him an asshole, but he is an asshole. Let me be clear. Brian McKnight, is this my camera? Brian McKnight, you are an asshole. And that's okay. It's not a beef. We ain't got no issues. You're just an asshole. I'm basing that on having interviewed Brian McKnight lots of times. Since you bring it, I wasn't going to mention this, but I've interviewed you lots of times. You were rude and nasty to everybody on my crew. Everybody on my team, you were nice to me. But the measure of being an asshole isn't how you treat the host. It's how you treat everybody around him. And you've been a dickhead to them. No disrespect to you, except you're an asshole. I was in the airport in Eastern Europe. I was headed somewhere. You were headed somewhere different. I watched a woman come up to you and ask you for an autograph, and you completely ignored and disrespected her and walked off. You're an asshole. But that's not why we're talking about this. So you say, I don't know you. You're right. I don't know you. But I don't have to know you to know you're an asshole. I don't get into your family business. Your family business has nothing to do with me, except when you make it public. And when you put your family in public on blast, that might make you an asshole. That's all I'm saying. When you have children and you say my children are the product of evil, that might make you an asshole. When somebody says, yo, but the Bible says you should love your children, you say my older children were the product of sin. That might make you an asshole. That's just a fact. When you have a child named Brian McKnight Jr., and then you fall out with them, have a new baby, name him Brian McKnight with a different middle name, and then legally change your name to the new kid's name, you try to start back at one with your kids?
This is an ad letting you know that Framer, the no-code website builder, is also now a completely free design tool.
That might make you an asshole. So please, don't act like you better than us. You're not. You worse than us. If you want to come up here and debate, I'm sure.
I would like to thank Masculine Lifestyle Guide, because he kind of put these clips together and everything, and I took it from his page or his podcast, and that's where the audio is coming from. So I just want you guys to know that. And he's got pop-ups coming from YouTube on his screen too. So that's what that is. But you see, it's a lot of context to this stuff, isn't it? And, you know, this is, you know, it's a lot of wild stuff going on. I'm not saying Brian McKnight right or he's wrong. I'm not saying Anton's right or he's wrong, or Lamont Hill is right or he's wrong. I'm letting them kind of go at it, and we can, because all that stuff about Brian Knight's family and what he said and what he aired out and stuff, all these these crazy Afro-Black people like to have a standard or a moral guideline to how all Black people should conduct themselves in their life, and you know they haven't walked in the shoes of Brian McKnight. So whatever his relationships with his ex-wife and his family, you don't understand the true context of that. And he's not like a normal Black guy. He's like a guy that's highly sought after. So if you are if you are a woman that can't keep up with the level of of his career and where he's going, and the grandification of his fan base or his movement, you might get how could I say, his ex-wife may have got what would they call that? She may have got passive aggressive or angry at or jealous of his exposure, so she may feel like she was less than. So her way of attacking him would be divorce and turning his kids against him and stuff like that, because that's how he explains what happened and everything like that. But whatever that story is, that's Brian McKnight's story. Mark Lamont Hill, he sees himself as a person to be Afrocentric and tout the Black, but at the same time, they overlook the crazy murders in the black community and degenerate shit that goes on in the black community, and that we all gotta be honest and attack, and we can't just be oblivious to it or turn the other cheek because we don't want to say nothing bad about the black community. It's not your job with exposure. Your job with exposure is to say, hey, that ain't gonna be good for us in the long run, and we do not want that to to multiply through our culture. We don't want that behavior, that mindset, that nothing of that to multiply within the black culture, but in the black community. And that's how we're supposed to do with our platforms. But the intellectuals may say that, hey, don't bring down the black community, talk to them in private. You can't. Nobody's talking to people in private when millions of people are doing something that needs to be magnified and be communicated on. You're not going to go to a million people and have an individual conversation. It's stupid. Okay, so we got to use our platforms to send it out loud and clear, and maybe it get to 10 people, 100 people, 1,000 people, 20,000 people at one time, and then that can multiply that into hundreds of thousands, millions, and so on and so on. But that's what's going on with this conversation. So I'm going to finish letting this play. It's got about 3-4 more minutes.
They would let you debate, but you didn't contact nobody. You're lying, just like your children say you lie. And for the record, I have spoken to your children off the record, and they've told me a laundry list of shit about you that's way worse than anything that's ever happened in the public. I'm not going to say that on air. We could keep that between me and you. But if you keep doing this, I will put it out.
See, that's the thing.
So now, if you want the smoke, keep coming, or we can just stop this right here, my brother. God bless.
Brian McKnight. First of all, let's do this.
It's Mark Lamar Hill, pussy.
Yeah.
Brian McKnight, just a few things on the tail end of that. I don't think you know. You got to research more about Mark Bryan. Like, not only was he born to do that, he was born to do that, Brian McKnight.
Yeah, that's a layup.
And he loves doing that.
That's a layup.
I think people see him with Pierce Brosnan and all of them on CNN and some of these other places. Like, they familiar with him on the church pulpit. Yeah. They must have seen him. Not only is he born to do that, but he's also the guy that's going to call the kids. And he's going to call the kids and talk to them. He's going to be in the airport and see you be a dick. That one I don't know if I agree.
But yeah, we know you ain't.
No, it was
that one I don't know.
It was rough. It was rough.
The way he did,
I give people grace. People be tired. Saying I don't have time to talk to somebody is different than being an outright jerk to somebody. And it was so bad. Another artist, who I won't say was there, saw it and was like, "Wow, I never do that." But anyway, that's neither here nor there.
This nigga in a group chat with your kids, nigga. Like this shit
kids
getting
listen
crazy.
to the show sometimes.
Yeah, it's just so crazy. Wild stuff with Joe Budden and his podcast, and obviously he got a lot of what they call them, the morning show, the Jungle Boys.
Yeah, and that's how I know that, you know, I've said some shit, but what a read.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I did that one.
All right.
You don't got no smoke for the interviewer?
Antoine Donaldson, Antoine Jameson, whatever his name is. No, I don't know him.
Anton.
He's saying that I think I'm smarter than everybody. Yeah. I'm smarter than him. Mm-hmm. You know, like, I don't think I'm smarter than everybody. I'm smarter than him. Yeah. But I literally don't know. I don't have a beef. I don't know who he is. I don't even know his name. Literally, I could Google.
So, like, we got to remember, it's the interview with Brian McKnight and Anton Daniels, and now Joe Budden and Mark Lamar Hill and his crew are, and Joe Budden's crew is responding to the Brian McKnight and Anton Daniels interview. Okay, so once we do that, I'm going to go back to the video, the audio video that I showed the first time, because that's the aftermath of this, okay?
Google it, but like, for what? Like, Brian McKnight deserves our attention. He's a star. He's a celebrity. He's a genius. And we engaged him. I didn't engage the homeboy, so salute to him. I hope his platform does well. Wish him nothing but the best. Salute to you, Antoine.
See, I'm telling you, everybody don't be needing that.
Nah, that was the nigga that jumped in it. That's the nigga that jump in?
Yeah.
And what happened to him?
Get a fair one, maybe.
No, you don't.
Can't jump in.
No, you don't.
But he can't jump in it for damn sure. Boop, boop.
All right, fine, Brian. I'll just play the records at the wedding.
No.
We nix that idea.
Well, you know what's funny, Joe?
Brian's coming.
It's funny.
He's one of the best singers in the world, but I mean, I do agree that he's done a lot of asshole shit.
Yeah, I like him too. We sat up here and praised this music. I talked about, I don't know.
Yeah, I get it.
Ain't lying.
And shit, they be calling me an asshole. I get niggas are assholes sometimes. Yeah. Niggas just assholes. That's it. You ain't got to defend it.
Making a new junior is like other level asshole though. That's not like, that's different kind of asshole. Like, fuck you, watch this. Here's your brother with your name is another level of asshole. Like, damn.
Yeah.
That's rough. Cold blooded.
Damn.
Okay. So that's
listen.
So I guess that will be pretty much it for that. And that kind of give you context. It's another video that I want to play, but I'm gonna go back to pretty much Anton responding to that. Okay, because we'll let that be the jump off point with the Brian McKnight interview. And then what he said on the interview, and they kind of played that to the context that mentioning them or Lamont Hill or something, and then they kind of went into whatever they wanted to go into. So we're gonna kind of go to Anton's response to that. Okay.
This shit, this ain't for you, bro. I'ma just let you know right now. I don't know if y'all familiar with my work, bro, but you better get acquainted. You better get acquainted. I will nuke everybody. I shouldn't even be talking to these niggas. I need to be talking to their boss. They're in negotiations to try to get contracts up.
And this video right here is actually Tommy Sotomayor. He actually took this video that Anton did, and he actually put his first comments, his second comments. I mean, he did like a first hit, a second hit, and then he did a third response to this. Okay, so this is Tommy coming in to commentate or instigate after Anton was saying what he was saying. I don't know if Tommy seen the actual Joe Buttons in them response, but I guess he overheard Anton kind of going at Mark Lamont Hill.
Count money. Just remember that. Like, bro, if your people fuck with you so hard, then how come you ain't got no motion on your own? That's all I'm saying. I could teach you something. Let me coach you, nigga. Because, I kind of look at him as autistic. The nigga blink a lot when he talk. Honestly, and this is the honest to God truth, I'm not dissing. You know how these super pseudo-intellectual people, they have quirks about them and they do stuff. They got tics and stuff like that. I thought that the nigga was autistic at first. But see, the problem with niggas that be autistic, and there's nothing wrong with somebody on the spectrum. Because see, y'all look at these niggas as savants. Y'all look at them as super intellectual. These niggas fear you. They fear me. I'm the boogeyman. I'm the boogeyman. You know what makes me the boogeyman? Because I don't need no sponsors. I don't need nobody to tell me what to do. I own 100% of everything, and I don't have no strings on me. So I say what the fuck I want to say when I want to say it. And we can have a conversation and all of that stuff maybe one day, but you got to ask your boss if you can talk to me first, bro. I don't know if that's in your contract. Seriously, like, talk to Joe, my nigga. Talk to Joe before you talk. Talk to Al Jazeera. Make sure that you don't say anything incendiary, because you know what happened on CNN. When you start talking too much about Israel, they fired your ass, nigga. Now we can get into the whole intellectual conversation, and I think that you're gonna get embarrassed in that. I ain't even gonna lie to you. Honestly, I think that would be a bad look for you. And I'm advising you before you talk to your managers. And the reason that I think that that's going to be a bad look for you is because I don't have nothing to lose. I'm a lifetime C student. Everybody know I'm a lifetime C student. I'm community college. You finished your doctorate. All these niggas like Mark Lamont Hill sound smart to niggas that got student loans. Honest to God. These niggas is smart to niggas that got African American studies degrees. These niggas is smart to people that's broke.
How about we add a round 3? What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? I'm Tommy Sotomayor. And that guy, well, that guy's Anton Daniels. When I first saw him, I didn't know if it was just Rick Ross and he had maybe got on a little bit of Ozempic. I'm not sure. But he talked like he Rick Ross, the boss. He act like he Rick Ross, the boss. But you know who he really act like? Yours truly. Man, it's hard to sit here and watch Negroes trying to act like me. Go ahead and drop that motherfucking beat. He done sit there and drop the beat on his video like I do. Try to have talking points like I do. I done sit up and watch this man steal more shit from me than a hair-hatted hooligan running up out of a hair store trying to get bags and bags and bags of that brand new yak. Now he want to talk about how this man might sound. I'm not a fan of Mark Lamont Hill. Not many people are, apparently. But that being said, it's a shame to watch somebody say he sounds smart to people with student loans. He sounds smart to people who, I guess, got African American studies. Nothing wrong with you trying to diss student loans, but then the people who went to college, like myself, some of the ways you could get through college was with a student loan. Pay them off. That's what you got to do. That's what I did. But I would test my degree against yours. I don't know why you or anybody else would try to downplay the fact that a person was able to go do this and pay it off. You know, it's like paying off a house, paying off a car, paying off any loan. You felt like that degree would make you better. And if you look over my career and you look over my resume, it did. It helped me. Knowing these people helped me. Interacting with these people in this social setting helped me. Now, college today, not really, even though I'm paying for colleges. Ugh. And no, they don't have to get student loans because they dead out here whoring. I mean, working hard. But that being said, sir, you said that people are scared to go up against you. I've been reaching out to this man for 2 years now. He know who I am. He done stole and ate from me for years and years and years. He know exactly who I am. Do he pick up? No. I even went to one of his live shows and asked for the link. You know what they did in the comment section? Block me. You know who blocked me? Him. You ain't never seen this man reach out to me from the time he was this high to the time wherever he is now or wherever he claimed to be. Millionaire and all this stuff. I own everything. Where you get that from? Where you get that telling these niggas go to your boss? All these lines you done use, you done took them from me, and there's many more I could say. I'm trying to make this short though. You said you'll nuke anybody. We both be on Fox. You act like you don't know who I am. Pretend you don't know how to say my name. Cause you like clout chasing other people. You're clout farming. Well, how about you go one-on-one with me? Let's see if you do that. I bet I shoot down them fake-ass stolen talking points. You've been ethered.
Okay, see? So that's Anton's response to Mark Lamont Hill and Joe Budden and the crew talking about him. And he's kind of talking to them about like why they can't even, get in his realm. And they responded to his video, so he was fired up. Anton was very much fired up. Then you got obviously Tommy would have trying to interact with Anton Daniels, but like Anton Daniels told you in the previous episode that we did yesterday, that the reason why he doesn't interact with Tommy is because he's kind of toxic and banned from YouTube, and he don't want to dirty up his brand and his content with somebody that's kind of really shunned by like social media platforms and stuff like that. So now you get the context to all that now. And I wanted to go back to, because I think on the first part of this, Anton cut off the 28-minute clip at the part where he was telling him about like it was something about like I would have to go back to, let me go back to it. Give me a second. Let me see. Okay. I want to go back to, let's go to comment. Okay, so go to this.
This didn't start on the smoke.
This was the stupid clip that whatchamacallit was watching. We don't need to watch it. Let's see.
Make it a habit. A 10-minute AI routine every morning. You'll be unrecognized.
Yeah, I heard he streams on Wormhole. All right.
This was it. It kind of ended. Let me see where it ended at.
I have never, ever watched one video live stream of you doing anything solo. Anything, not one time. So if you are sitting there thinking, Tommy Sotomayor, that I am biting your style, even when Fatty did the live stream and he showed the ether beat coming up, that's somebody else that chopped up my content and put that behind it. I didn't even know that you did something like that because I've never, ever watched a live stream. I don't watch Rumble. So when I say never, I mean never have I ever watched any of your content before in my fucking life.
Okay.
So if you think that somebody is stealing your style.
Okay, he cut it off right there. And that's Anton chopped that clip up. So now I'm going to Anton's actual episode so we can kind of continue, so I can make sure that I get the full context of him saying that line to him, because that was this is the Millionaire Morning Show, and this is where it comes from. So I want to start pretty much right there, because that's where we left off on the first part of it, and I want him to get his full rant about never watching him another day in the life. And I already told you guys the trick that Anton's doing is he's saying that I never watch you as a standalone performer, like a standalone podcast or standalone episode of your stuff, but he obviously seen him on like Fatty stuff or Fresh or Fit or something like that. And I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with how Anton is articulating it. I'm just trying to put this beef, he's not beef, but this conflict into context. And it's a lot of class and like clout conflict that's going on here, but let's go back to that.
Ever, not one time have I ever sat and watched your live stream. This is the longest that I've ever sat there and watched you on a solo mission. And I'm not saying this to diss. I'm saying that I am not your target audience. I've never watched you a day in my life, not one time. I have been on YouTube since, and I'm pretty sure you've been on YouTube longer than me. Maybe 2012? 2012? I have never, ever, not one time in my entire fucking life, ever, and I put that on my mama's life. If I'm lying, God strike me down right now. I have never, ever watched one video live stream of you doing anything solo. anything, not one time. So if you are sitting there thinking, Tommy Sotomayor, that I am biting your style, even when Fatty did the live stream and he showed the ether beat coming up, that's somebody else that chopped up my content and put that behind it. I didn't even know that you did something like that because I've never, ever watched a live stream. I don't watch Rumble. So when I say never, I mean never have I ever watched any of your content before in my fucking life. So if you think that somebody is stealing your style, I'm fresher than you, nigga. Just keeping it 100. I'm flyer than you. I'm fresher than you. I'm cooler than you. People respect me more. They ask me for my opinion. They reach out to me to ask me what it is that I think. I am the motherfucking man. Let's make no mistake about it. I'm not saying this because I'm just trying to, I'm telling you that I'm a fly ass motherfucker. My cars is fresher. They smell better. I talk cooler. In every way, in every fucking way, there is no way in the world that you would ever miss. If I walk in the spot, and anybody that has ever met me in person know in real life, if I walk in, it's a difference, nigga. Everybody is gonna stop and say, who is that nigga right there? The ladies stop and they come over and they say, hey, D, and they all give me hugs, and people take pictures, and I do the selfies, and I spend the next 35 minutes showing love to everybody that is showing love to me. When I walk in the store, everybody stop and they send their best sales associate. When I walk in the casino, everybody stop and they say, wait a minute, we got to get 2 hosts and get him anything that he wants. Everybody in the valet, and this is the honest to God truth, anybody in the valet, they stop and they park my car at the front right there, whether I'm in Vegas or whether I'm here, or whether I go to Springfield or whether I go over to California on a goddamn reservation. I am him in every way, in every single way. I can't speak for you. I don't know what your life is like outside of here because I ain't never met you. But everybody knows that it's a difference. And it ain't nothing outside of the fact that we black and bald head. There is nothing, not one thing that me and you are alike. Well, maybe we vote the same. Maybe we both like Trump. I don't know. I seen you with your Trump hat on. But I want to be very clear. Nigga, there is nothing that you have for me to steal. There is nothing. Nothing. Not a talking point, not a style, nothing. And I mean 0.
And he's, like I told you, like I said in the episode yesterday in the podcast, Anton is extremely successful. Okay, he dotted all I's, crossed all T's. So the problem is now, like in this world where you're in 2026 pretty much, in the rhetoric and the actual confrontations and the interactions of Tommy Sotomayor goes back to 2008 radio disc jockey stuff. You get what I'm saying? And in the midst of 2012 and 2020, he was extremely prominent. Tommy was extremely prominent, and at that time, it was a flood of newcomers that just had just the way that they moved and the way they've been articulating themselves for the last 10 years or so. Because Anton, he's been doing it since since 2012. So for him, he's engulfed in the culture and the verbiage and all the other stuff, no matter if it came in a hip hop song or something like that. And then if some of that stuff goes back to Tommy Sotomayor, he doesn't know you're the pioneer of that. You would have to go back to your audio tape to represent. Hey, I said that line when you said this on your episodes. And I don't care if it's from 2020 all the way up to 2025 or from 2012 all the way up to 2025. I said this in 2008. I said this in 2009. And that's what you would have to do to give validation that he should stop, analyze it, and give homage to you. Because you talking to a powerful, strong, extremely ambitious, and can-do goddamn guy here. So, excuse my language, motherfucking guy here. But, like, that's who your opposition is, Anton Daniels. Extremely well-to-do Michigan Detroiter, which, trust me, I'm a Detroiter. This is a hard thing to beat. It's hard to come out of 6 Mile and Evergreen and beat Anton Daniels. For real. For real. Another story, okay? So, you're talking about an extremely accomplished guy against negative odds. I'm talking about well-funded negative odds. Like people that come at you and try to take your throne, try to take your path. Even if you're not accomplished yet, they actually make effort and spend money to stop your path in Michigan. That's what Detroiters do. They will spend money to make people failures. It's crazy here like that. So, Tommy, you're kind of talking to a guy like that. So now you can't, no one can take Anton's success away from him. So now you're coming in and you want him to belittle himself and belittle his grandeur and his status and his accomplishments and in the way that people think of him and how he wants people to acknowledge him and think of him in his platform and how he articulates himself and how he communicates. He's got to destroy you now. He's got to destroy you now. So that's why I'm glad I went back to this clip to let him finish, because I don't like when people just cut stuff off there. That's not in context. And he cut it off because he didn't want people to have that small clip where, because this is, like I told y'all, one thing about YouTube that's sick that I just don't like, podcasters that I don't like, in the influencer world that I just don't like, is they won't keep things in context. That's not their number one rule. Their number one rule is, how can I influence you to think and believe and feel what I want you to feel by watching this 28-minute clip? It's context that he wanted from the beginning of that 28-minute clip to the end of that 28-minute clip that he wanted to establish. But because he's doing the Million Man Morning Show and he's doing his thing, there's bigger context there, but you would need people to be objective to want to put the full context into play. Before I go to Tommy Sotomayor's, because obviously I'm thinking I got to do a fourth part to this thing because it's an hour and a half now. Before I go to Tommy Sotomayor's response to this video, I have to play whatever Tommy, I haven't watched it. I haven't watched none of this. I haven't even seen this. I didn't even know he went this far to talk about his clothes, his style, and that he's smoother and cooler and fresher. It's like, so, like all that, it would have been lost if I went to Tommy's video and he started bloviating and said crazy stuff about Anton. And I'm like, hey man, you're ridiculous. But at the same time, Tommy does play the whole clip. So he probably went from the beginning of him saying this stuff to the end, to when he kind of goes to this next segment. Because that's what I'm doing. I'm going to let Anton do what he say, and let him go to his next segment, and then we'll go to the next episode. And obviously, I'm going to have to do a fourth episode. I thought I was going to kind of wrap this up, but there's so much philosophical stuff that I wanted to communicate about just, and look, like I told you, now like I expressed to you guys, and I probably got it lost in the weeds, but I am a extreme supporter of Anton. I do like what he's doing. I do like his mindset. Some of it is a little bit, it's too gray area. It's too fickle and it's too weird for me. And mindset focusedness of it, but I do believe him and his mindset of his bag chaser mindset and how he moves. I just think you gotta be an extreme bulldog and selfish person to adopt his bag chaser and his methodology for making it and success. And if you haven't turned over and became successful from being a Patreon member or from the bag chasers and stuff, you it's because you did not you literally didn't become selfish and become ruthless to becoming who you're trying to become, or whatever that execution of success will be. And that's the barrier that's stopping you. I'm on that right now. For me, I'm on it unmercifully. I don't even want to talk to people. I don't return people calls. I don't return people texts. I don't even want to return your emails. If you are against what I'm trying to do and where I'm trying to go, and if you're trying to hinder it and bring negativity to it, it's not that I need you to help me. I need you to stay out of my way. Don't get in the way. And that's how you got to be to go towards where you want to go. And you got to quiet the noise and focus. And he's kind of saying like, hey, dude, don't ever say that my life is built off of you. It ain't. And I'm saying to Tommy, in this episode, I'm kind of communicating to Tommy that from where this man come from, he's a self-made man and he's aggressive. He's aggressive. And Anton, you could thank your dad for that. You could thank your dad for your mindset. You are a derivative of your father. Certain psychological structures, psychological things you observed when you were a kid. I always say this about people, that who a person is what's their psychosis from 5 to 13 years old. 5 to 13 years old can make or break a person, a human being. In order for you to rewrite 5 to 13 when you're in your 20s, when you're in your 30s, when you're in your 40s, when you're in your 50s, in order to rewrite that is extremely aggressive. I'm talking aggressive and traumatizing to how you got to rewrite your life, yourself, your being in order to beat your 5 to 13. Anton responds to life, his success to life, his success in business is because what his father conducted himself and his family conducted themselves in 5 to 13. I think his father put some focus, man, dominating leader stuff in him that kind of spilled over into his teenage years, and it came into automatic function in his 20s, and by the time he got in his 30s, that stuff was done. He didn't need to do nothing. He needed to push a button. He gets up the house, he walks out the house, and life goes exactly how he mapped it or structured it to be in his teens and his 20s. For real. I know psychosis, and I'm telling you that's who Anton Daniels and why he's moving. So his bag chasers, they coming in, hopefully when they come in, they're in their 20s. You know what I mean? They're like, they something where they could kind of hardwire and correct some of the 5 to 13. 5 to 13, you need your parents to speak you're the shit in your ear on a day-to-day basis. You're the man. You're the greatest. You need them to speak that into your life on a day-to-day basis when you're 5 to 13. It makes you function like that when you get into your teens, when you get into your 20s. Most people, their parents got too many kids that they can't do that technically to every single kid, or or maybe they more liberal or something like that they just don't think that you should be an egomaniac about yourself, so they don't really speak that into you. But most people that achieve the stuff that Anton, Steve Jobs, Tupac, Jay-Z, people like that, they had a authoritative person, parents, a mentor, a family member, grandparent, speak "you're the shit" into their life on a day-to-day basis when they were young, 5 to 13. Like I said, I ain't mean to go so much in that, but Tommy, you gotta understand. However he has his mannerism or his ideology or his talking points or whatever and stuff, like for him, you're not it. And the way that he's looking at you, you know, he doesn't see anything that he could look up to. And that's just the way it is. So you guys gonna be on oppositions. But like I said, the sad part about most people is that they're gonna pay attention to this in their validations of both people to an individual's essence, an individual person's life. That you want to take some of Anton's way of doing things and mindset and life and everything like that and incorporate it into the way you function. You want to take some of the freedom and the always fighting for your individual rights, how Tommy Sotomayor is, but the conflict comes because the status that they're in, they might indulge in things that may not be objective. They're subjective to their circumstances, and that's maybe what you got to wing out. And that's what I'm trying to wing out in this debate. That's why I'm trying to keep it in full context. But let me let him finish his rant.
For me to steal. Nothing. So y'all got to let this shit go and stop letting these niggas keep on gassing y'all up and saying that this nigga is the inspiration. Inspiration for who?
How long it takes a beginner like my dad to go from beer belly to get ripped again.
Who? For me? I don't even walk around the streets with anything less than 10,000. I mean, 50 on my wrist. Fuck, my beanie is like 750, I think. I don't know. My glasses is 12, 1300. Fuck, what we talking about? I don't even think niggas want to play big bank, take little bank with me. For me to steal. Nothing. So y'all got inspiration. Inspiration for who? Who? For me? I don't even walk around the streets with anything less than 10,000. I mean, 50 on my wrist. Fuck, my beanie is like 750, I think. I don't know. My glasses is 12, 1300. Fuck, what we talking about? I don't even think niggas want to play big bank, take little bank with me. My pocket change, I get this shit out. Honest to God, my goal today, the only reason I'm carrying cash right now, the only reason that I'm carrying cash right now is because I get this shit out to the streets. I walk around with no less than 10,000 on me at all times because I know that it's niggas in the street that need to feed their fucking families. The fuck is y'all talking about? We not the same? Why? That's my pocket. That's my book bag money. Why niggas is acting like we all on the same level? Why everybody acting like man? Let me stop, bro. I didn't come on here for this. What we want to show? We want to show our bank accounts. We want to show our brokerage accounts. This is the only time that I'm going to address this shit. Real talk. So get all y'all reaction videos off. Do all the whatever the fuck you got to do. And just know. Why we talking? I stole from this nigga. I stole from who? Who? I've been rich for damn near half my life. The fuck we talking about? These niggas talking about? I stole from a nigga. I'm from Detroit. We don't steal. We hustlers. All right, now that we got that out of the way, make sure you hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. I stole from a nigga. I stole from a nigga? God bless you niggas. Let me read some of these cash apps and super chats.
I'm gonna let him go do his thing. I'm gonna stop it right there. That should be enough. Whatever context Tommy Sotomayor may say from that. Like I said, he's from Detroit. I'm born and raised, and to make it out of Detroit or make it into a life where you got something of substance and you're doing something of substance is off the hook. Okay, it's off the hook. Okay, so And I'm telling you, to be Anton Daniels coming from 6 Mile and Evergreen, I'm using that as an example because it's somewhat in the understanding he would know what that means. That's ambition, and that's aggressiveness, and that's steadfast focus, and you're tearing through the city, and it takes a lot. Okay, so it's a lot of context to the situation. And the bad part about it is it's a status, it's a economic high stature, high status, high clout confrontation that's going on here. Brian McKnight is a multimillionaire where he could throw away $500,000 to his baby mama for 18 years, and that's a good, like we talking about. I'm not talking about like total. That's $500,000 a year at the least he could throw at his baby mama for 23 years. You get what I'm saying? And it don't hurt him through his whole life. Through 20-something years, it didn't hurt him at all. It didn't hurt how he moved. It didn't hurt what he bought. It didn't hurt how his life progressed. He's doing that much stuff overseas. In different cities and different states in America, he's doing that much that he can keep up with that and live a good, fruitful, and growing life. So him and an extremely successful person like Anton Daniels is making hundreds of thousands to millions of dollars every single month. They get into a conversation that a multi-millionaire situation, even Mark Lamont Hill, his money, if his money is not as big as Anton's or Brian McKnight, is at least he's getting paid $1 million a year to do all the stuff that he's doing. And then you got Joe Button, and they making multi-millions a year, and his crew making a couple $100,000, $500,000 a year and stuff. The other guys on there. And then they start to bicker. Then you got a person like Tommy Sotomayor coming in to give his opinion about their confrontation, and he's making about $1 million or $2 million a year, meaning that they're making about $100,000 to $200,000 a month. Even Tommy Sotomayor is. So when you start to really understand these people having a major conflict with each other, it's such a high society issue. You get what I'm saying? That he's like this beanie that he's got on his head. He said that damn thing is $750 for a beanie. It don't snag. It's good. I ain't saying this is snagged, but man, a Gucci beanie is $750. Boy, $50,000 Rolex, and he's taking out a $10,000 band of cash. I'm sure he got multiple ones in that bag. So you're hearing a conversation of some elitist people with elitist mindset and what they're fighting for. They're not gonna be fighting for what you fighting for. You get what I'm saying? So when you're looking at this, you got to keep in context that this is a high elitist situation, and it goes back to what I told you guys about. Don't be influenced. influence warfare, you versus them. And the reason why I say that is because they turned their guns on us. We're the joke. Now, for me, I know to go do what I'm doing. Like, for me, this is how my days start. I start at like 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. I may go into the studio and edit and do like, I'm talking about movies. You get what I'm saying? Movies and podcasting and all that stuff. I'm doing that while I'm doing this and stuff. And I may kind of go find some things, and that may take me a few hours and stuff like that. But this is how my day start. 3, 4 in the morning. I do some edits. And then I might go and do some work, exterior of the building and everything, like going out to kind of do engineering and construction and electrical work or maintenance work or something like that to divisions and all that stuff like that. I may come back, I may do a podcast or something, or go do my research for a podcast, do a couple hours of grab some clips and some stuff like that, or do some research of what I want to show, prep the software for it and everything, and go online and do it for about an hour or two and everything like that. And then get off of this, do a couple things to it just so I can post pretty decently, and then I gotta somehow come back to it maybe in a day or two later to chop it up and everything like that. But in the midst of that, I gotta go back into my edit for about 8 to 10 hours, movies and stuff, and the different things I'm trying to do to turn that stuff over and or keep up with whatever they're asking for me to update and distribution and everything like that. And then I'm kind of going out to go do other things to capitalize on my money and everything like that. And then I'm coming back in 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night, and I'm kind of prepping and doing some other stuff for so when I wake back up at 3 o'clock, I can go. I may eat something probably at 9, 10 o'clock, and then I jump back up 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, do it again. You get what I'm saying? I'm like that every single day. Every single day. And now I got to add 2 to 3 more hours to what I'm doing just to be very effective in the podcasting now and what I'm going into. And then I got to turn money like crazy on a week-to-week basis to get the final numbers that I always want at the end of the month. It's extreme to and I'm not in nowhere near where they're at. But in order to make sure that you don't let them waste your time and you monopolize off of them or your own self, or your own individuality, because it's all about you. It is about you. You got to do a lot. You have to do a lot. And I'm saying only reason why I'm kind of doing this, don't be influenced, because the influence, yes, they had a way of life. They was doing certain things. We're talking about 3, 5, 4 years ago. They were kind of living their life. They were kind of improving their life. They went through certain things and they wanted to document it and everything like that. It just so happened to be that an audience was watching them because they have relativeness. It was whatever they was going through was a reference for human beings to say, you know, I'm going through that, or I've been through that, or I want to look out for certain things like that. And that was the relativeness. And then the influencers, they grew and became influencers because the way that they were moving, people were starting to gravitate to it and say, you know what, I'm gonna take that advice. And then they start making so much money off the viewership and off the super chats and all the other stuff that the actual influencers turned the gun on their viewers and say, you ain't like me. I'm fresher than you. And why are they saying that? They saying that because your money is as good as money. When you watch somebody's stuff, when you watch an Anton Daniels show, when you watch a Tommy Sotomayor show, when you watch a Joe Budden show, when you watch a Candace Owens show, when you watch a PBD show, when you watch the Fox News, CNN, it's money. You're spending money. You don't take your viewership serious. What 5 minutes you view, what 10 minutes you view, what hour you view, what couple hours you view, what you binge watch. You don't take it as currency, but the people this platforms that you're watching, they are happy. And they're like, oh my God, we got a viewer. is that important to them. Yes, they need a 10,000, 20,000, 30,000, 100,000, 200,000, 400,000, a million, 3 million, 5 million, 17 million. That's how it goes in for their overall and how much money they're willing to spend to get up to that 17 million viewers each content. But truth of the matter is, every viewer, it means that their system is going to plan, and they're willing to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars for you to look. That's why most podcasters, they take $250,000 if it comes from the company that they used to work at. They save up that money for a few years, and then they go and be a podcaster and they quit their job. But they throw $250,000. That's why I always say to people, don't do nothing. Don't open up a restaurant. Don't start a clothing line. Don't go into tech, or don't go into movies. Don't go into nothing unless you got $250,000 to throw at it on day one. It's going to make sure that you can sustain through whatever ups and downs that may happen in creation of that goal or the success of that goal. And these guys, they do it effortlessly. They can sit at home or in a studio and they could do 10 hours of content every single day, record 10 hours of content every single day. They can do that. They can buy the latest cars and everything and clothing and jewelry and all the other stuff because your viewership is extremely important. It's vital. It's blood. It's $1. It's $2. It's $10. It's $100. It's $1,000. It's $100,000. That's the value of your emails, of your viewership, of you hitting the like button and the subscribe button. So I say that they should be grateful for it, and they should never turn the gun, ever turn the gun on they super chats, even when they talking crazy against them. Okay? Because that gave them the overwhelming wealth they have. But now we're in this society where it's the influencers have turned the guns on the actual viewers, and it's time for the viewers to say, okay, I'm going to use your content to capitalize off of. I'm not using Anton's content to capitalize off of him. I'm using it because I listened to these two guys and I followed these two guys, and that they always had side conversations about each other, but they wouldn't communicate who they were talking about at all times. But now they came out and said it, and I feel like, yeah, this needs to be commentated about. But at the same time, I feel like I'm a person that I like to give individual perspectives on everything that's going on. How? Because it lets you know how to be objective to everything. Buying a loaf of bread, you be objective to it. And society says you need to be subjective. You need to not really know why you're making the decision. You just got to have a feeling. But I say you need to know why you're doing what you're doing, because that's how these guys operate. They know exactly why they say what they say, why they do what they do, and they do it for a specific outcome that they get. We think we're in a spontaneous, spirited, free situation that we're observing, but really it's all calculated. And the joke's on us. So it's all right to enjoy podcasters and influencers and take some of their advice, like they say, eat the meat, spit out the bones. You could take from what is valuable for you in your life, but do not give them your value. You should not be getting worse while they're getting better. That ain't cool. Okay? And like I said, I have no smoke for Anton Daniels or Tommy Sotomayor. I just feel like I don't care about the anomalies. I care about the majority. And the majority needs to understand your power and your economic value is being calculated on a day-to-day basis, and it's been spent. It's been actually turned into dollars in liquid cash flow. So respect your viewership, what you put your eyes on. You know what I mean? What you do with your time, because your time is extremely valuable to the industry, especially media. Okay, we're gonna do a third. Obviously, we're gonna be doing the third part to this because I gotta go to Tommy Sotomayor's response to all this. Okay, my name is Daris D. McKinney. This Individual Perspective Podcast. Okay, and like I said, guys, please show me some love and hit the like, subscribe, follow, do whatever you have to do. I need to get my numbers up. You know, I know you don't know me, you don't care about me. Maybe I'm not as verbose or fluid with my speaking and everything, but I'm pretty good at this, and I kind of know what I'm doing and how to package it up and everything like that. I did the graphics, I did the intros, I did all the stuff that you see, so it's not totally ridiculous. Okay, so please show some support. We're growing. I'm trying to get everything better. I want to bring interviewers on here and stuff like that, but I need your support. I need you to hit that like, I need you to hit the subscribe, and I understand that you guys are not using the super chat, you know, because I'm a nobody still, you know, and I'll fight it. I'm gonna stick with it until you notice me. Okay. My name is Daris D. McKinney. I'll see you guys on the next episode where we kind of do the response of Tommy Sotomayor. And like I said, no smoke for Anton Daniels or Tommy Sotomayor, AntonDaniels.com. I like these guys, but at the same time, you know, I do put things in context and have an objective analysis on stuff. And that's what I offer, an individual perspective. Okay? Because I think you are your best answers, and you need to fight for your point of view, not a point of view that was stuck in you and shoved in you from your parents, from your culture, from the community, from your education, and from your heroes and all other stuff. The only thing that makes that valid is if you vet it, and then, like I say, eat the meat, spit out the bones, and who you are is you. You are an individual human being, and you fight for your individuality. And individual perspective is not to say that things that your father taught you is not good. It needs to be vetted. And once it's vetted and it's in you, utilize it on a day-to-day basis. That's what Anton does. It's subconscious to him. He thinks it's him, but it's technically his father and the makeup of his background. And he has his characteristics and stuff like that, but he is a subject of his father, because I heard him talk about his father in very detailed ways on broad spectrum across years of episodes and stuff like that. So I could tell you confidently, majority his psychosis comes from his makeup. You get what I'm saying? So I'll see you guys on the next episode. Thanks for your time. Like, subscribe, follow, please. Check you out. Actually, like, follow, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in a few, because we gotta come back and do the third part. You know, it's about 3:00. My goodness, I'll be doing this all day.